So I made a video in late June talking about my investments as a 20-year-old, and at that time I had around $59,000, and I broke everything down in spreadsheets and talked about why I chose everything and what my investment process looks like going forward. And right now it's October 12th, I turn 21 October 15th, and I recently hit the milestone of $75,000. So I thought it would be very fitting to make that same exact type of video. So I broke everything down the same way I did back in late June, and we're going to compare them side by side, as well as talk about what changed, why I am investing this way, and what my investment process is going to look like in the future. So let's go ahead and let's talk about it. So before I jump into today's investments, I want to do a recap of what I had back in June, and just very briefly so I can tell you exactly what changed. So at the time I had right over $59,000, and I had 6 different investment accounts that I was actively investing in. And since then, I have closed out my Coinbase, my Webull, and my Vanguard account just because I did not like using them. They're just not my favorite platforms. And now I only have my Goldman Sachs, Fidelity, and Robinhood account. And we're going to briefly touch on Robinhood and Fidelity because those are the ones that have changed the most. So opening it up, back in June, I had $33,000 in Robinhood, and it was distributed amongst all of these different stocks. And these were really just big gainers. I was looking at these really popular stocks. I was seeing they were blowing up in the past 5 years, and that's kind of why I chose them. There wasn't a lot of good reasoning of why I was picking these other than the numbers. And in Fidelity, I was going with an ETF strategy. I had 3 different ETFs. I had my reasons for picking all these, and I still hold SPLG today just because this is such a killer ETF. But as of now, that is the only ETF I hold, and I do not hold as much as I did back then. Now let's jump over and talk about today's investments. So now let's go ahead and talk about my current investments. So this is my Robinhood portfolio. It's valued at $41,000, and I only have 3 holdings in this account. I have FTAI Aviation, Walmart, and SPLG. So FTAI Aviation is kind of a newer stock. It's something a little bit more experimental, but it's been absolutely killing it this year. It's up like 200%, and I was holding this way back in June, and I wish I just didn't touch it at all because I would be up ridiculous amounts. But I rebought this probably about a month ago, and I'm up 12%. My other one, Walmart, it's an all-time favorite. It's just a great stock, also been killing it this year, and I have about $13,000 of this. I have $13,000 pretty evenly distributed amongst these 3, and that really wasn't intentional. It just kind of ended up like that. The last one is SPLG. It's my only ETF I hold across all investment platforms, and it is my favorite ETF. It has a super low expense ratio and a pretty good distribution yield at 1.28, and it's just a great S&P 500 ETF. So if you're someone who knows about investing, you know my portfolio's performance really isn't that great. Year to date, I'm only up 8.56%, and in a 1-year time span, I'm only up 10%. But I'm someone who's recovering from like a $2,800 loss in my portfolio, and really in the past 6 months is where I've gotten the hang of what I'm actually doing, and I've seen this 8% gain just in these past 6 months. So being up 10% was pretty crazy, and it's the first time actually being bullish in a portfolio. So that is my Robinhood account. Let's go ahead and talk about my Fidelity account. So this is my Fidelity portfolio. This is my dividends account, and it is super interesting. I have 73 holdings in here, and I'm going to explain why. So the total value of this portfolio is sitting right above $26,000. So it is my smaller account, but I do in the future want to get this bigger than my Robinhood account. So the reason why it has so many holdings is, if you know about investing, you know there's high dividend yield ETFs. And I was looking at the ETFs, I kind of dug through a lot of the holdings, and some of the holdings were literally terrible. And I was like, why would I want to buy this ETF if this is one of the holdings? It's just something I don't even want. I thought to myself, well, ETFs are literally just clusters of stocks. Why don't I just make my own by just investing in all of the good ones that I picked out? So I went through probably 500 plus stocks on different ETF holdings, some high distribution ETFs. I'd find all the holdings. I would go through every single one. I would research everything. I had like a huge spreadsheet of it, and these 73 are the best dividend stocks that I found. Some of them don't have the highest distribution yield, but their long-term performance, I'm talking like 5, 10 to 20 years, was pretty great, and the upwards potential of them was insane. So if you're actually interested in these, I'll scroll through them really slow, but you can see the highest loss that I actually have is this one, the CAG at 6.02%. But honestly, it's not that much if you consider how many that have gained over 10%, which I've highlighted in that darker green color. But really making this, it was more of a game. I know the distributions that I'm going to get from the actual dividend is not going to be that much. It's like I've gotten a ton of them already. It's like $5, $1, $8. I think the most has been like a little bit over $10. But in reality, we're talking long term. I want to get like over $1,000 in every single one of these positions, get this portfolio over $100,000, and it's going to slowly become more of an asset than it is a portfolio. So that was the whole idea of creating this. And honestly, it's super fun. Like I wake up in the morning every single day of the week, and anytime something goes down, I just put in a little bit of money, like $10, $5, $20. If it goes down 2%, I'll put in $50. I put more in the more it goes down. And I just constantly buy them anytime they have a dip. It just doesn't matter, whatever it is. So I'm just funneling this account with money. But it's literally like a game. I enjoy this account. I'm so excited to see where it takes me in the future. And I don't see myself touching it whatsoever unless one of these stocks goes absolutely haywire and it doesn't follow the trend of what it's been doing for the last 20 years. I'll get rid of it. But other than that, I see myself holding all of these positions for a really, really long time, and I don't plan on getting rid of them. So since I've started this account literally was in a deficit, and I'm already up $712, which is really, really good. I'm super excited about that, and I can say that I can see this being a beneficial portfolio. There's very rare days that it goes down more than $100, just because all of these big gainers basically support this thing, which is awesome. So that is my Fidelity account. So last but not least, we're going to talk about my Goldman Sachs savings account. I absolutely love this account. It's so easy to use, and it's zero risk. I don't have a lot of money in it just because it's only 4.10%, which in my opinion, like if there's a cap off on how much you can make, I don't really want to put it in there. Even though I'm not the greatest investor, I can make more money elsewhere. But I do have $1,000 sitting at 4.10%. I just started having a recurring deposit into this account just so I can not really notice myself saving more money, but more money will be saved in here. So I do like $25 a week. I also have this 14-month CD at 5.40%, which is extremely good. They don't give these out anymore, which it feels pretty awesome that I actually did that. At the time, I didn't want to get it, but I have $5,185 sitting at 5.40%. It's a 14-month CD. I can touch this money again in 2025. This account only has $6,277, but I don't see this going anywhere anytime soon. I love this account. It's just a way to store money that maybe I'll need in the future. Maybe I need to buy a new car. It's here. It's here when I need it. So talking about my investment totals, I have a total of $75,000 right now. I keep around $2,000 in my checking. I'm making a lot more money now. It's just coming faster and faster, but a lot of business expenses go out, so I do keep this $2,000 in my checking just to play it safe. So Robinhood, $41,000, Fidelity, $26,000, Goldman Sachs, $6,000, checking, $2,000, and we have a total of $75,000, which is a big milestone. I mean, I literally wanted to hit 100K by the end of the year, but it's coming really, really short, and that would mean I need to make 10K for the next 2 months, which is doable, but it's extremely, extremely hard to put away $10,000. So really make $15,000 and keep 10, which is so difficult. But that is my investment breakdown of all my accounts. And going forward, I don't think I'm going to touch this Fidelity account at all, other than adding to it, putting more money in, and hopefully building it as much as I possibly can. In the Robinhood account, I do want to split up this money and find something new that I want to invest in. But as of right now, there's nothing that I've found entertaining enough to put my money into. So I think it's gonna kind of just sit like this for a long time. I've done a ton of research till my head hurts, and everything just doesn't look that promising other than these 3 holdings, which I'm okay with that. So that is all my investments. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment if you have any questions for me, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.